Hi everyone, this is Pratima and today I have the Redmi Note 13 Pro with me. This is the successor to the Redmi Note 12 Pro from last year, which came with decent specs for its price. This time Redmi has bumped the specs even further and even included a few flagship features here which I will talk about right after unboxing this device. Well, I'm not exactly sure of the pricing of this phone while making this video, but I will make sure to put the pricing details down below once I have all the information. So now let's just get started. So here it is, the box in a very Redmi-like packaging. Inside first we get the basics, the SIM ejector tool, a nice looking grey cover, which is definitely better than the transparent ones. Further there we have the phone. I have it in this blue color variant, but it's also available in purple, black and white options. Finally, we have the 65-watt charger and a compatible USB-A to USB-C cable, and well, that's all we got here. Alright, so out of the box, I also appreciate that Redmi has not skipped on providing a screen protector here unlike other brands, Samsung. But anyways, let's talk about the design first. Redmi has continued the boxy form factor with the Note 13 Pro just like on the Note 12 Pro. In fact, you get a very similar form factor here with only a few minor details changed. With the 13 Pro Plus, you actually get this curved design which looks a bit more premium. But I'm not complaining about the Redmi Note 13 Pro though. I kind of like it that Xiaomi has created a differentiation in their lineups here. Anyway, it's a glass back with frosted matte finish on the Redmi Note 13 Pro, which kind of helps conceal fingerprints and smudges to some extent. I also like that the frames and the chassis of the phone match colors, which gives it sort of an even look. The boxy form factor helps with the grip too, so I would say that this is a comfortable enough phone to use for longer hours. And even though Redmi has included a slightly bigger 5100 mAh battery here, this phone does not feel heavy or bulky, so that's nice too. Apart from that, we get an IR blaster, a headphone jack and stereo speakers here, which are always welcome additions. You have to know that you only get dual 5G SIM slots here, which means there is no micro SD card support. But the base variant here is 256GB, so it should not be a problem, I guess. Anyway, probably the biggest highlight of the Redmi Note 13 Pro's design has to be the inclusion of Gorilla Glass Victus on the display. It's the first time we have seen Victus protection being included in a mid-range phone, so I really hope that this will prompt other companies to follow suit as well. I know flagship phones already have the Victus 2 protection, but for the price, Victus 1st Gen is more than enough. Although Xiaomi has not confirmed if the back glass here has any protection. And while we're talking about durability, this one has a slightly improved IP54 rating, which is a step ahead of the IP53 we got last year. At the same time, it's nowhere near the IP68 protection that we get on the 13 Pro Plus, so the max we can expect here is a little bit of splash protection and nothing more. The display side of things get a good enough upgrade this time around. It's still a 6.67 inches AMOLED screen with 120Hz refresh rate, but Redmi has bumped the resolution to 1.5K and it's a 12-bit screen as opposed to 10-bit on the 12 Pro. This means the 13 Pro can represent a greater number of colors, making the display more color accurate and the experience better. With 1800 nits of peak brightness, outer visibility on this device is not a problem either. It also supports Dolby Vision even in apps like Netflix, so watching content on this screen is actually a good experience. And the minimal bezels along with the tiny punch hole on it are just the icing on the cake. However, while watching YouTube, I have found the phone trying to over-sharpen the content a little bit. It's not that apparent, but once you notice it, it's kind of hard to ignore. Other than that, I'm pretty much happy about this display. It is optimized to run at 120Hz or 60Hz or 30Hz depending on what plays on the screen. The switching does not happen as fast as a flagship phone, but considering the price, I am not complaining. You also get an in-display fingerprint sensor here, which is a first for a Redmi Note device, and it actually works quite well. On the performance front, you're getting the new Snapdragon 7S Gen 2 chipset, which is a good upgrade over the Dimensity 1080 that we got on the Note 12 Pro. We know that Dimensity 1080 is more focused on efficiency rather than core performance, which is why gaming performance was only average on that phone. But with the Snapdragon 7S Gen 2, we can expect better gaming results than the Dimensity 1080. Hence, while I briefly played games like PUBG, I was able to get a stable 60 FPS here with no lags or stutters whatsoever. I tried playing Genshin Impact at high settings too, but turns out the phone was not able to handle that, and I lowered the graphics settings to medium, and then I was able to get stable gameplay. I have to tell you that I have not done a thorough gaming test of this phone, so stay tuned to our channel to catch the full review of this device after about a month. Handling normal everyday chores is not a problem for this guy though. If you're someone whose usage needs are not very extensive, or if you are a casual user or a casual gamer, then the Redmi Note 13 Pro will be able to handle that without breaking a sweat. Redmi has also upped the software game this time. Previously, the max update commitment we saw on a Redmi device was 2 years of OS and 3 years of security update commitment. But with the Redmi Note 13 Pro series, we actually get a total of 3 years of OS and 4 years of security update promise. I know this is not as good as Samsung's mid-range phones, but I do think that this is a good start. The Redmi Note 13 Pro comes with Android 13 based on MIUI 14 out of the box rather than the latest Android 14. So even though it will receive 3 years of updates, the max update it will get is still Android 16 and nothing more. And yes, Xiaomi India has already teased about the HyperOS coming to Indian units of some Xiaomi and Redmi phones recently. Even the Redmi Note 13 Pro series is rumored to get the HyperOS update based on Android 14 as early as the end of Jan, so I am really looking forward to it. For those of you who don't know what HyperOS is, I've actually made a dedicated video on it, which you can check out from somewhere here. Lastly, let's talk about cameras. This year, Xiaomi has replaced the 50 megapixel camera on the Note 12 Pro with a 200 megapixel Samsung HP3 sensor. The other two lenses are practically the same, an 8 megapixel ultra wide and a 2 megapixel macro lens. This is actually the same setup that you get with the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus as well. So I was really curious to know about how the cheaper Redmi Note 13 Pro holds up against the 13 Pro Plus. I compared both the cameras a little, and my initial impressions are that the Note 13 Pro and the Pro Plus's cameras do not reflect the same output. The Note 30 Pro Plus has better color optimization, better contrast, and even details than the Note 13 Pro. Even human subjects have better skin tone most of the time. Sadly, the nighttime images scream lack of optimization on the 13 Pro. They are just too bright and too saturated. And especially the ultra-wide image processing needs more optimization in both daytime and nighttime pictures, which I really hope Redmi brings via a software update very soon. You have to know that it's only been 2 days that I have been testing the cameras, which may or may not reflect the actual performance. So I am going to test it even further and give you guys all the information in my full review. For videos, you get support of up to 4K 30 FPS, and looking at the samples, it's evident that Redmi has not optimized OIS well here. You can notice a fair bit of frame cropping and jerkiness in the videos. From the front, you can take up to 1080p 60 FPS videos, which look very average in my opinion. Well everybody, that was all for my 2-day experience with the Redmi Note 13 Pro. For the most part, Redmi seems to have tried to balance the specs of this phone very well, and inclusion of things like Gorilla Glass Victus, in-display fingerprint sensor, a better chipset, and extended software commitment are very appreciated from my side. But at the same time, the lack of optimization in cameras is a little disappointing for me. It feels like good hardware is being wasted by the lack of proper software optimization. But guys, this is only my initial impressions. I will need further time to test the device to give you my final judgment. So do subscribe for my in-depth review. Saying this, it's me Pratima signing off. See you next time.